When Russell Westbrook got traded to the Los Angeles Lakers, I knew that the chances of dysfunction were there, but nothing could prepare me for this season. I won't try to change anyone else's perspective or opinion. Instead, I'll respect it, the same way that I wish people respected Russell Westbrook. He'll get a lot of the blame for the way that this season transpired, when I think that there's more than enough blame to go around. Was Westbrook perfect this season? The answer would be an easy no, but the reality is that nobody in Los Angeles was. Laker fans, I want to know what you want to see this offseason from your team. What would have to happen for you to consider this offseason a win? Is there any chance that you still believe in this core, with Russell Westbrook due nearly $50 million next year? This video, we have a lot to talk about, but first, let's get a word from our sponsor.
You guys know me, I love basketball. It's one of my favorite things on this planet, hands down. There's really not much better than going to see some live NBA action. The dunks, the blocks, the crossovers, I love it all. You know what I also love? Being able to find tickets at a fair price. That's where SeatGeek comes in. SeatGeek is not only the sponsor of today's video, but they're also an amazing ticketing app. Whether it's concerts, baseball, basketball, football, festivals, or more, SeatGeek puts tickets from all over the web in one place to make buying super simple. I've got the app on my phone, and they're by far the easiest way to buy tickets. SeatGeek is clutch. They even let you know what type of deal you're getting when you're getting it. Now, if you guys want to be like me and get in on some live action, don't worry, I've got the hookup. Use code DCOOP for $20 off tickets at SeatGeek. That's $20 off your first purchase with promo code DCOOP. Just make sure you click the link in the description below to download the app today. I want to give a major shout out to SeatGeek for supporting our channel.
I think it's funny how at the time that I'm making this video, we're not any amount of days into the offseason, and we've already had the privilege to talk about LeBron James and Stephen Curry teaming up. The shop is in full swing, just like the speculation surrounding the Los Angeles Lakers. After a loss to Phoenix, Westbrook was asked what he thought about running it back. Westbrook's response? That's the plan. Nothing is promised. You kind of take it one day at a time each day. Like I've said all season long, you've got to play the cards you're dealt. Yeah, we want to be able to see what this team looks like and what that entails over the course of an 82-game season, but we're not sure if that's guaranteed either. So I just hope that we have a chance to be able to do something. This response was a surprise to some people. In my eyes, there was nothing to be surprised about. Yeah, this season was a mess for Westbrook and the Los Angeles Lakers. Yeah, the hometown fans booed him and his confidence reached lows that I really didn't think were possible. Yeah, the on-court friction between him, Bron, and AD were evident, and hey, even Frank Vogel seemingly wasn't messing with the vision. But at the end of the day, who's turning down $47 million? Going into this offseason, Westbrook has the ability to opt into $47,063,478. Let me know if this is illogical in the comments below. I honestly feel some of the friction between Westbrook and some of the Lakers stars was generated with a purpose. I think that the Lakers wanted to do everything that they could to get Westbrook to turn down his player option. Westbrook opting in is a potential nightmare for the Los Angeles Lakers, for the simple fact of if they're not able to find a trade partner, it's not easy to build around a $50 million player who isn't playing at a $50 million level. I'm not saying that it can't be done. I'm just saying that I don't think it's easy. I know the Mega Supermax is designed to entice star players to stay with their teams, but in certain cases, it's being used as a tool to create some very undesirable contracts. Some players sign these crazy contracts in the name of loyalty, when in actuality, they're just going to get a bag. Now don't get it wrong, the loyalty can of course be there too, but in certain cases a bag like that can be very hard to pass up on. What sucks is while these contracts are great for players' pockets, they can severely hamper teams and even change people's perception. If Russell Westbrook was playing for $15 to $20 million, would he be nearly as hated as he is today? Look at what's going on with John Wall in Houston. He just opted into his contract. He's getting nearly $50 million. And yet we didn't see him play a minute last season. Once my Achilles starts feeling better, honestly, it might be time to start training for a G League tryout, because some of these contracts are ridiculous. April 7th, reports would come out that the Lakers and Rockets are expected to revisit a Russell Westbrook for John Wall swap this summer. Laker fans, do you feel like John Wall at this stage of his career would be an upgrade over Russell Westbrook? There was some dense noise about a potential John Wall trade around the trade deadline, but reports came out that ultimately the Lakers didn't want to attach picks or make a move for the sake of making a move. In my opinion, this was the right decision. I don't know if there was a trade to be made at the trade deadline that could have changed the outlook of this season. According to AD, all the Lakers were missing was a little health. I think that the biggest thing that I think about personally is what we could have been had we all stayed healthy. He talks about eventually figuring it out, and then he states, what if Brown was healthy and what if Kendrick Nunn was healthy? That's not a BS sports quote. That's actually Anthony Davis. While a healthy Lakers team would have fielded a better record, their issues were much deeper than health. April 7th, it would be reported that all indications are that Westbrook will likely be moved this offseason and that the desire to part ways is assumably mutual. That same day, a report would drop that Charlotte has been increasingly mentioned by league insiders as a team to watch on the Russell Westbrook front. I'm ashamed to admit this, but the first thing that came to my mind was why in the world would LaMelo Ball approve of a trade for Russell Westbrook when he already feels like he's being underused in Charlotte? To quote LaMelo, when they put them keys in my hand, I feel like it's gonna be a whole new situation. But until then, I'm gonna keep doing what I need to do. Just try to get these wins, I ain't gonna lie. Every game I feel like I can do more than what I'm doing. LaMelo Ball is filthy with the ball in his hands, and despite James Borrego trying to hold him back, I think that he's only going to continue to ascend to astronomical levels. I'm not going to say that LeVar was right, but instead I'd like to ask you guys, has he been wrong? I've been planning a Charlotte breakdown soon. If you guys want it, I'll have to bring it to the channel. It's safe to say that my take on a Westbrook trade to Charlotte was starting to reach Skip Bayless levels of comicalness. The Charlotte Hornets wouldn't trade for Russell Westbrook because they wanted to hold back LaMelo Ball. They do it so they can take on Westbrook's expiring contract. The Charlotte Hornets have big contract decisions coming up, and they could potentially get rid of Terry Rozier and Gordon Hayward's contract without giving up any assets if they were to trade for Russell Westbrook. This isn't me saying that I love the vision, but I see it nonetheless. If I was able to see the roadmap behind this, getting on board with a potential Westbrook trade to Charlotte would be a whole lot easier. If the Hornets ate Westbrook's contract and were really bad for a year, they could come out with a ton of flexibility. They'd also be able to find out what they have in some of their young talent. Who's to say a guy like Book Knight can't be as good as Terry Rozier? The thing is this something that Michael Jordan would be interested in doing? The Portland Trail Blazers embraced an idea like this pretty late, and this is an unpopular opinion, but I think that they could come back next season a completely different team with some serious potential. I'm not saying that Charlotte is Portland, and I'm not saying this is the only option, but I am saying that this is one option, and I'm surprised that we don't see more teams with franchise cornerstones embrace a down year as opposed to staying in the middle of the pack. The Spurs were bad for a year. Okay, I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but I'm sure you guys get my point. Laker fans, would a package of Rozier, Hayward, and potentially PJ for Westbrook interest you if you had to include picks? Are you even interested in trading picks at all? I talked about the Hornets having to make a decision, but so does LA. Do you want to go all in on the final years of LeBron James? The responses I've seen have been all over the place. I've even seen some people suggest trading AD. I've also seen the possibility of Westbrook being stretched brought up by Mark Stein. Apparently, they're feeling a $15 million cap hit for the next 3 years, while according to Real GM, Westbrook's camp isn't too inclined about that idea. They're wary of the stigma that comes with accepting a buyout. Westbrook still believes he can contribute at a high level, and I mean, is he wrong? Towards the end of the season, Westbrook started hooping. According to Shams, the Pacers have also emerged as potential suitors in a Russell Westbrook trade. Buddy Hield and Malcolm Brogdon have been mentioned as potential trade pieces. Let me know what you guys think of everything down in the comments below. Clicking the video on the screen right now is a great way to support my channel. I'm Get Like Coop, bringing you guys the scoop. Until our next upload.